This is The Plot Thickens with Cassie and Amy on SwinRadio. This is Cassie.
And this is Amy.
And it's 3 p.m. and you're listening to The Plot Thickens on SwinRadio.
We read and discuss creative writing live on air every Tuesday at 3 p.m.
Yay!
Yay!
I just see the note, who's reading. There's a dot point beneath our little script that says who's reading. And it feels really ominous because I'm reading today.
Yeah, I wrote up this document because it's a shared document between us. And I usually have notes on it. There's one dot point for what to remember every week.
Oh, this is a shared document. I've never looked on the document, despite me making it.
Awesome.
That's not a shared document.
Yes, it is.
I do not have this document.
I had the questions from last week on here.
Shared with this
one person. That's you.
No,
What?
that means it's empty. Oh, I am.
Cassandra.
I am on the document.
That's you.
Why do we have two documents called the same thing?
We don't. This is the same document we used last week. I just deleted the questions.
I think you're gaslighting me. We're starting to say how strong.
All right, let me check the version history for you. Oh, look at that. There's all the questions gone.
Really proving a point.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and I feel good about it.
Okay. You feel proud of yourself?
Yeah, I do actually.
Read today?
I do.
The who's reading? Is it going to be Amy?
No, it's you, actually.
Okay. And everyone's really upset about that. Most of all me. Actually, most of all you.
I'm going to start a tally of how many times you mess up a word.
Oh, God. Put it on the shared document.
No, that's what we should do.
And I'll never see it.
We've spoken before about how we want, like, a visual to, like, put here on the back wall. Behind the wall. And we were thinking, like, like a nice, like, graphic to be, like, the plot thickens. No, it's going to be a tally of how many times we mess up while reading.
This is like the Stranger Things, like, you suck.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just depressed.
Yeah. Don't know what that has to do with it. Get something off your chest. What are we doing today, Cassie?
Okay. I will read. You better mark my mistakes.
I will.
Because today we're going to read Of Moss and Bilberries by Matilda Vick. I'm very excited. Not a Swinburne student.
Today
we're branching out, guys.
I think this is the first time we've ever had a non-previous or current Swinburne student.
That is not true.
What are you talking about?
Anonymous?
Yeah, previous Swinburne student.
There are previous Swinburne students?
Yes.
The more you know. Guys, education is beautiful. This is why we come to university.
So hopefully this encourages any of you listening, if you're not a Swinburne student, please submit something.
I was going to say school, but you make fun of me when I call university school.
No, I don't. You're thinking of someone else. Because I do the same thing.
Skill! All right, let's go. Of Moss and Bilberries by Matilda Vick. Sorry, preparing myself.
We're a bit disorganized today.
Soft footfalls pressed along a path of dirt and rotted leaves, a trail worn down by routine and care. Each step mirrored imprints of the same threadbare boots that had traveled slowly down the winding path countless times before this day. The shoes that wandered belonged to a woman. The aging of the path she journeyed proved twin to her own vast years. Her silver hair bounced along, while her bones fought to keep up with her spirit. She paused with each step, leaning over the bilberry bushes that encompassed her trail to cautiously observe the small orbs that dangled from every stem. Her keen eyes judged their color and potential sweetness, reaching out with wrinkled hands to cradle a cluster of leaves and berries. The morning sun scattered its light across the field around her, and she smiled to herself. The berries were ripe for the picking, and with the joys...
Keep going.
I see the tally. Were ripe for picking, and with that, the joys of summer could begin. Armed with a purple-stained bucket, gloves much the same, and a bright yellow sun hat, the woman stood poised on her porch. Her back hunched ever so slightly from the weight of her years, and the knobs of her fingers cracked inside her gloves as she flexed them in anticipation of the work ahead. For a moment she stood there, the rays of sunlight stroked her face, and the midsummer breeze followed with gentle intentions as it shifted her silver curls. She squinted up in delight, watching the clouds drift through the sky, and enjoyed their journey across the vast blue. The world around her hummed. The gentle breeze rustled the fields of bilberries in front of her. The twigs whistled their tunes, and the birds above harmonized with them. I'm getting so insecure as I see the tally.
Keep going.
As she watched the sky for a moment longer, she saw singing birds swoop across her vision to pick a bilberry for themselves. From the forest, she imagined a man call out in anger, "Shoo, you darn birds!" A flash of memory darted across her mind, and her eyes hurried to spot a figure she knew would not be there. Ignoring the voice from the trees, she let the feathered creature feast on the world's bounty, for these bushes were wild, and so were they. The woman's knee threatened to give way as she descended her porch steps, and the fear of her years caught her breath as she let out a yelp. At once, a strong gust surged around her arms, steadying her movements and planted her back on unsteady feet. Without a second thought to the unusual wind, the woman gave a huff of annoyance at her own flimsy body and set herself once again on the path. Gloved fingers searched each bush. They plucked round berries from their stems, with each one falling into her hand without complaint. The absence of any restraint by the stems gave her a particular warmth, their willingness to descend into her palm a blessing to her old joints. As time went on, her gloves further darkened with rich purples of the bilberry's juice, and her knees strained with each careful step as the sun began its descent. More and more birds had come to help her harvest, but now even they journeyed back to their nests. The woman raised her arms to her forehead, the effort of the day evident in the dampness of her sleeve as she pulled it away. She heard a resonance of rushing water pass her ears with the pleasantness of a warm bath. The sound struck her as familiar, yet there was no stream in sight, and she was only left with the thought to run herself a bath. Clambering back to her cottage, the woman marveled at her bucket, filled to the brim with another summer's bounty. The air had cooled significantly as she carefully removed her dirty boots and left them by the door. As she walked away, a covey emerged from a fracture in the porch deck, its brown fur mused from squeezing its body through. The creature cleared away the dust of the woman's shoes as if in a trance, its tail swishing away the specks of dirt that had gathered. With boots returned to their original glory, the coney twitched its shiny nose, the spell seemingly broken. Its eyes refocused as it scuttled back through the fracture under the house, to which it found a bed of moss awaiting it for the trouble. To her pleasant surprise, the woman found the fireplace was alight with a small flame, just enough for her to place an extra log atop the spark to create the heat her tired bones craved. Fleetingly, she wondered if it was little elves that had started the fire. Their tricks and their favors were known to her only through story. The odd happenings she had experienced throughout the day aligned with what her grandma used to speak of. Nonetheless, aged sensibility led her to dismiss the sentiment and draw herself a bath to rest her aching bones and clear her fanciful mind. As she awaited the tub to fill, the buckets of bilberries became her next challenge. The jams and juices she was going to make with this year's harvest flooded her thoughts, the tarts and breads, soups and powders in which she could enjoy and share with her neighbors. Yet the day's labor had weaved its way through her frame. She could go on no longer without her bath, and the bucket would have to stay filled. Crossing the dimly light hallway towards the bathroom, the woman noticed tracks of dried mud on the walkway, but could only scoff at the mess before a sweet scent wound its way through her nose. There, floating atop the steaming water of her bath, was a scattering of lavender. The woman was struck with a sense of peculiarity. Elves truly must be running rampant in her home. Silently, the fires and spreading her favorite flowers in the tub. Her grandmother's stories never mentioned such endeavors of the folk, known more for their cruelty than their kindness. Her silver curls shook as she tried to clear her mind of the impossibilities. Alas, the mystical events of the day were starting to catch up to her. She cupped the sweet-smelling water between her crooked fingers, yet a glance around the quaint bathroom showed no sign of the elves. Shucking her work clothes with great resistance, the woman at last descended into the water, surrounded by lavender and heat. Blissful relief overtook her body, and the day's hard work finally revealed its haunty self. With great effort, the woman reached for the tar soap on the tub's edge, each movement slow as she scrubbed off dirt and grime. Her bones creaked as she tried to reach her toes, yet the strain on her back proved too difficult. Instead, the woman laid back against the tub and closed her eyes, the weight of living overtaking her mind, and the body as lavender drifted beside her, their scent lulling her to sleep. The water was cold, the flowers had lost their color, the night had utterly overtaken dusk. Outside the woman's home, a common blackbird found itself called away from its roost. It followed an invisible call through the forest, its orange bill glittering in the moonlight as it passed boulders and berries. It came upon the cottage, surrounded by bilberry bushes, and a sense of urgency. The blackbird rushed to land on a small windowsill where the scent of lavender faintly flowed out a cracked window. It does not know why it was called to such a place, yet a song rose from its lungs to make itself known. The orange bill directed to the window, the common blackbird sang. Its low-pitched warble reverberated through the night, unnaturally loud for its small stature. The bird was startled by the sound of its own song, but alas continued the melody, and the sound flooding the cottage it had made its perch on. A splash of water shocked the small creature from its song, the sound launching it into flight towards its roost, where it found a bilberry bush awaiting it in gratitude. The woman had been startled awake by a songbird, an oddity for the time of night she found herself in. Raising her hand, she saw her unusual wrinkles overtaken by water-pruned eyesores, and her mind nodded to remember why she was still in the bathtub. She clutched at its sides, willing temporary strength into her arms to rid herself from the water that continued to soak her bones. Tired and aching, the woman finally pulled herself over the edge and took a moment to breathe as she trembled from the endeavor. Tears overwhelmed her eyes. She did not understand why her body failed her, nor why she could no longer will her legs to carry her weight. The tears craved steams of helplessness into her sun-wrinkled skin as she could do nothing but crouch on the cold tiles. Suddenly, the woman's body lost all weight. She felt her hands leave the tiles, and her tears plunged to the floor as she was lifted upright by 2 mounds of packed dirt. In horror, the woman stared up at the being that had aided her. Moss-covered rocks and dirt fused together to create an obscure figure. Twigs stuck out of what would be joints like exposed bone. Tufts of grass covered a round shape like hair on what was seemingly a head. It stood over the woman, with dirt that crumbled to the ground around it and promptly replaced itself, creating an ever-shifting creature of earth. The creature that had just saved the woman from her own mortality, even if only for a moment. The sound of stones grinding together reached her ears through her shock. It sounded strangely distressed, as if it reached a dirt-packed arm out with the woman's bathrobe thrown over moss and grass to protect it from the grime. It was in that moment that the woman noticed her own body once more. This time shivering from the cold air that filtered through the cracked window of the bathroom. With weariness enveloped by gratitude, she took the robe from the creature's arm, grasping at the warmth of the cotton, as if it had been heated by the fire before being presented to her. The moss creature took a step back towards the door, its task completed. Its head tilted at the woman as she took a shaking step forward, the gesture inexplicably familiar to her. She could not comprehend her own trust in this earth and moss being, its kindness or its familiarity. Yet this time no age sensibility told her to fear it. Oh my god. The creature made another sound of grinding rocks and raised an arm towards her, and with a shake of her silver curls, she took it. The creature led her towards the fire, somehow still alight, even after her long rest in the tub. It was getting harder to deny the otherworldly happenings of her life. Now it was not the elves she thought were going around her home, but this strange and lovely creature before her. They passed by the kitchen, and to the woman's disbelief, the bucket of bilberries had been poured over her extensive assembly of containers, each marked with their future intent. She fleetingly recalled the last person that had eased her workload, the last person to grate her with a roaring fire, the last person to know what each container meant. The sound of logs being whacked together came from the creature. It had grunted at her and suspended her in disbelief. It maneuvered the woman in front of the fire and fussed with the flames as it snapped twigs from its own body to feed it. Once it was seemingly satisfied, the creature moved to sit in the quilt-covered lounge chair which faced the fire, dust-covered and untouched for a decade. It was not the disturbance of the old chair the woman thought of as her body guided itself to the soot-covered floor, but the bittersweet memory of a man she loved. She stared at the creature, at its rock and dirt and moss, the shape it took. It was a shape she knew but had not seen in a decade. A shape that was familiar for a reason, yet so different she could not bring herself to voice her speculation, lest she was wrong. So she continued to stare. The earth creature stared back, and its blank face carved into itself with loss and longing, and nodded. Echoes of breeze over tall grasses and bilberries falling on dirt danced around the woman's ear and tucked her hair behind it as she sat unmoved from in front the fire. New tears found their way to her eyes, everything that had happened to her on that day catching up to her. Yet these did not carve their way into her skin, but glided through the creases of her smile lines, falling warm onto the cotton of her robes as she gathered her strength once more to stand. The woman did not go to the creature, this spirit that was her love reincarnated in earth. Instead, she left the heat of the fire in favor of opening the door to the wilderness beyond. She did not have to turn around to know the creature followed her movement. She left behind her cleaned boots and robe, and once again a large gust of wind aided her descent of the porch steps. Barefoot and unafraid, the woman began her journey, for the last time, along the path ahead. Dirt and rotted leaves became fused with the creature. Each step restored the worn trail with bilberry seeds, its earthly body becoming a vessel of renewal behind the woman. She mourned those of which she could not be able to pick to eat. Still, she continued along the path. At the end was a small clearing, free of bushes and berries. She turned around to see the trail had disappeared. In its place flourished new bilberry bushes that glinted in the moonlight, and the man of moss standing beside her. He reached out his arm to her, and she took it once again, for she knew him well. Her body would not be able to hold on for much longer. Her fatigued bones had taken her to her last destination. Together they lay down in the clearing. She was enveloped by the dirt and moss of the man's arms as he held on to her for the first time in the decade. The woman felt the warmth of moss creep over her body from the man as it soothed her aches and pains. Shielded by the moss and the embrace of the man she had lost, the woman laid her head to rest for a final time.
Yay! And that was Of Moss and Bilberries by Matilda Vick.
Alright, hit me with it.
I stopped counting.
Oh no!
I got to like 8 and I was like,
I couldn't be bothered.
I mean, this is great. If you want to even just submit we don't have to give you any feedback. You can just submit your writing to know if this is a dyslexic friendly piece.
Are you dyslexic friendly? Matilda, you're not. You failed. Ableism at its finest.
Oh.
No.
No, let's not get into that.
Let's not get into that. No, this is a beautifully written piece. I'm really sorry I had to be the one to read it.
Yeah, if anyone has any tips and tricks.
I've tried everything. I've tried making
made
it
the text
bigger.
green.
I've tried making the text green. I've tried breaking up the paragraphs. Guys, some of us just weren't meant to be readers.
Yeah, and that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah,
right. No, I think I got to 8, and I was like, Actually, you know what it is? It's the damn Cheyenne thing again from a few episodes ago.
What?
You started with Bilberries, and then it turned to Bilberries.
I went back. Because the thing is, I recognized it. Like, the second time I did it, I was like, wait, that's not how it's meant to be said.
The second time, girl, you did it like...
No, I did it twice. Because I heard it, and then I was like, oh, this is Bob the Builder. I was like, Build-A-Bear, what the hell?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, enough making fun of me. Read your first adult point.
I'm sorry, you did great.
Read your first adult point.
Okay. I just want to say, because, obviously you guys can't see it, but I just want to say there's little Bilberry page dividers in the document, and it's so cute.
They kind of looked very Legend of Zelda like.
I don't know. I've never played Zelda.
There's these little bastards in Legend of Zelda that I hit every time because they're so annoying. But that's what they look like, and they are cute.
They're very cute. So I just wanted to get that out of the way before I forget. How do we want to start this?
Let's go with your dot points. Let's actually be structured this time.
These dot points are not structured.
Perfect. Just
awesome.
the way we like them.
I want to say straight off the bat, beautifully written piece. The thing is, and I'm guilty of this too, in order to make the piece more concise, you need to trust the reader more, which is, and I think I come back to this every episode, show not tell, which is that, yeah, did you get that as well?
I got that there was a lot of repetition.
Yeah.
Like in just doing the same thing over and over again. Like we saw that her fingers were like really sickly and thin 100 times, but I didn't really get any other description on her other than her hair.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm also talking about there's this repetition in really trying to push the point that the creature is her deceased husband.
Yeah.
Can get that straight off the bat. It's just the push to keep repeating it over and over again, I think makes it lose that sort of the oomph and the magic to it. I also want to say magical realism. I love magical realism so much, and I'm so happy it was in this because it really suits the atmosphere of it as well.
Yeah, at first I was gonna say something on it like I don't really know what kind of world we're in, but hearing you say it, I'm like I do agree where it's the not set in one specific thing. It's not a negative, it's just me being dumb.
Yeah, because I think it's inspired by like Finnish folklore.
Yeah, I think, was it Norwegian as well, or am I
give us a second. Scandinavian and Irish folklore.
Scandinavian, that's what I was trying to think of.
Yes.
Not Norwegian.
Yeah, so I think that definitely shows through throughout the piece.
Yeah, the like folklore of it all.
Which paired with magical realism is always like, I love it. Because I think we've had conversations about this before where I'm like, I don't read a lot of fantasy.
Yeah, neither.
But I love real world with just little hints of magical realism.
Yeah, I think it is really good to especially suit a story like this as well, where it's about something like very real, like, you know, death.
Yeah.
To have a story where it's like kind of set in a world that was very familiar to us, but has this slight hint of like fun and magical undertones.
Yeah.
It's really nice. But back to the husband thing, I agree where it too many times was kind of just like this familiar shape that I knew but didn't know. I feel like for me, all you needed was the sitting in the chair. Sitting in a chair that hadn't been touched by a decade.
Yeah.
That, like, in itself, I feel like was enough for me to really cement it. And then right at the end.
Yeah.
Where she's like finally knows it's her husband.
And
or
it
like,
made me think of Up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just made me think of the 5 stages of grief. Of like acceptance.
Yes.
So even that could be kind of interesting to play with there if she's like in denial that this is her husband that she's seeing. Especially with her at first believing it's like elves and stuff. Something with that. But obviously she doesn't seem like a very angry person. So I don't know how like step 1, step 2 you can go with this. But I kind of also was feeling like the stages of grief within how the moss creature was like presenting itself to her.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. But yeah, the atmosphere in this piece is like insane. It's so well done, I feel. Did you have something to say about the atmosphere? I'm used to you like cutting in and talking, and now I'm like, I don't know what to say.
I'm gonna give some context and at you a little bit for why I'm being cut. I was called out.
Okay, you mentioned it first, and I went, yeah, I was going to talk to you about that.
I talk too much in these episodes, in this podcast. I run my mouth a little too much, and I don't give Amy a chance to speak. So I'm trying to be quiet now, but I just see Amy look over at me.
I want a discussion.
I'm not sure when to cut you off. Okay. How about we give you a sign, like you go, Cassie, shut up.
Okay.
On the atmosphere, because I do have stuff to say. On the atmosphere, I do really like it. I like that I can like feel the nature of it all, but I would have liked more sensory language, which is something that I feel like we say every time. Even though I know how the bushes like feel and how she feels like grabbing at the bushes, I would have liked something more, especially if we're like feeling her die later. The distinction between like how she's actually feeling as she walks this path. Like, do her feet, like, sink in to the footsteps that she takes every single day? Is it so familiar? Like, it's, like, paved the way for her. Like, all this stuff that she does this every single day, some level of, like, she knows exactly, like, how it smells, how it feels. Like, the nature almost, like, bends to her in a way.
Yeah. It's interesting because I thought there was plenty of sensory language. I guess. Really? Because are you wanting more, like, feel sensory
I think I'm wanting more feel. And also, like, I just have a particular love for smell.
Yes.
Which is done so little, I feel, in, like, we always do, like, sight and touch.
Yeah.
And hear, usually in stories. Taste and smell are very underutilized. But to me, like, they're the strongest of the senses. Yes. Especially when one of the main constant motifs is the Bilberries. I was going to say Bilberries again. Is the Bilberries. Like, how sweet.
I was going to say that before as well. I was about to say Bilberries.
You know, she's making this into jams and stuff. I feel like there's a level of, especially if you're going with the theme of dying, a level of, like, sweetness, but, like, rotting that you can also use with it. Obviously, that's just, like, my personal, like, I really like smell when it comes to sensory language.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. There is a lot of sensory language. I'm more talking about, like, the sensory language that I really like. Because I just think since it's done more rarely, it is, like, so much more impactful.
It's so much more powerful. Which I feel like, going back to the husband thing, you could use that for that.
Yeah, genuinely.
Like, it's... Because scent isn't really mentioned a lot in here. That could help remove it from it. I don't have words today. But that sort of makes that a bit more impactful, is the smell sensory language is purely just talking about the husband as well.
Yeah, especially since so many things with the husband are around smell. You've got, like, the lavender in the bath, and you've got, like, the more earthy tones of, like, the moss. And the husband was the only one who, like she said before, alleviated her when she made the jams and stuff. So, like, some level of it smelled like the jam, or, like, it smelled like when he, you know, accidentally burnt something all the time, as he always did. Like, small quirks about her husband that she's, like, feeling off of this creature more than just the shape looks like him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the
you
scent.
could, give him a particular scent, and then you can even. I got a hint of what's a man scent.
Cinnamon. That's not a man scent.
That's not a man scent.
Can you tell I'm a lesbian?
So it could be like, yeah, I caught a sniff of cinnamon.
Old Spice.
Yeah. Perfect. That's old man smell. That's perfect. Perfect. You know, I got a touch of Old Spice, and then from the forest she imagined a man call out in anger. Like, directly relating it to that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, no workshopping. All right.
No, sorry. I needed a minute to, like, compute what you were saying.
I'm so bad with my words today. I don't know what's happening.
I just stared at Amy blankly for, like, 5 seconds, and then I went, yeah.
Like, I'm going, okay.
Yeah, the old... It took me... Because I thought we were in the house, but then you were like, when we're in the forest, and it took me for a second.
Well, because there's the thing at the start.
Yeah, the scene where she's picturing hearing him, which again is like an auditory sensory description in a way. I don't know how that makes sense. I feel like there's different levels of auditory descriptions. Sorry, I did the 6-7 hands, so I freaked out for a second. Where you can describe, like, that a character's just hearing something, which I suppose is, like, diegetic within the scene. But then there's also a level of, like, my ears rang, or my ears stung as I heard this, or felt overwhelmed, or it overpowered my own thoughts. Like, so there's different ways to do auditory language, where it's like, one of them is like, I just imagine I hear something, and another one's like, I hear it so strongly it overpowers, like, the sound of the, like, leaves and stuff. So there's like 2 different ways, which if you do want to have some kind of level of distinction between reality and, I guess, like, the afterlife, which I think what the husband is kind of meant to represent, he's not actually there. Or that's at least how I read it. You can have that level of, like, separation between, like, actual diegetic sounds within the scene and something, like, otherworldly. And I guess I'm saying that can be also carried across when it comes to, like, sensory descriptions in, like, smell and taste and touch and all those other things, especially if the character is in a scene where she is, you know, with a bunch of smells like the lavender, like the bathwater, like the earth scents, and the moss in her house. And, you know, in the specific scenarios where she's around, like, berries and, like, a lot of tastes that she's also familiar with. There's a lot of chances to go into other kinds of sensory language other than just touch and taste. Other than just, touch and see.
Can you tell we love sensory language?
We do.
I also, speaking of auditory, how do you feel about the lack of dialogue in the piece?
Oh my god, there is no dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't have to pull out a southern accent, so I hate it.
Oh, yeah. Boo.
Actually, no, wait, hang on. That's really interesting because I don't know why I thought there was dialogue. I guess it's written in a way where, like, you can almost imagine the communication.
Yeah, with no communication being there.
But not even between the main character, between the bird and the husband specifically, this, like, unheard call that the bird was experiencing and the haze that the, I was supposed to say Kurt, the covey was in. To me, that almost, like, felt like dialogue. I don't know why. That's insanely well
That's
written.
powerful.
That's powerful, bro.
Wow.
That felt like dialogue to me, so knowing, actually, you reminding me that there is no dialogue, I think that was done really well because you can still get the sense of, like, communication.
Yeah. I know there was no dialogue because I didn't get a chance to be like, oh, I want to voice that character and I want to voice that character.
We did not have the who's voicing who discussion. Do you want to be the moss or the bilberry?
Ooh. Okay, which one of us is moss and which one of us is bilberry?
I'm really sorry, I think you're moss.
That's fine, I want to be moss.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, I'll be bilderberry.
Bilderberry. Oh, perfect.
Oh, perfect. Are you the wife or the husband? Or are you the covey? I call dibs on the elf. I want to be the imaginary elf.
Well, they don't actually exist in the story.
Well, neither does the husband in my headcanon.
Okay. I want to be... I don't know. What's the creature that, like, cleans the shoes?
The covey?
No.
Yeah, the covey.
I thought it was a coney.
Oh, coney, sorry. It is coney. Covey isn't.
I want to be that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm an imaginary elf.
Tag yourself.
I'm an imaginary elf, and you're a coney.
All right. Perfect.
On the elves, actually, with the whole, like, folklore thing, I like how even within the world, you don't know if the elves are real. Like, in this imaginary universe where it feels like the elves absolutely could be real, there's still this level of, like, they are just, like, stories.
The implication.
Yeah, so even though you were saying this is kind of like a magical
realism
piece, it doesn't explicitly need to be. It can be this level of realism where she's just kind of imagining all this fantastical stuff as, like, her moving on or moving forward to someplace beyond, I suppose, the real world, in quotation marks. So I think it's interesting that can be read, like, in many different ways, and you can kind of view the fantastical universe as something set within the story, or you can kind of view it as, like, part of the afterlife.
Oh, thank you. If you want to see this little drawing that I have on my page.
Is that you as the coney?
Oh, wait, I was showing the wrong thing. That one.
This empty page.
Yeah, that's me as the coney. No, that's my Roblox avatar.
Oh. Alright.
Anyways. Just picky stuff. Tufts of grass instead of tufts of grass. Crossing the dimly lit instead of dimly light.
Yeah, you can't cross a tally off for me for messing that one up, because that was
you followed it. I didn't do that. I was reading along. I didn't do that.
I saw you hesitate.
No. And then you said great instead of greet as well. I think that was it. I think it was just 3 of them.
Just reading it as well, there's some places that would benefit from having a comma to break up the sentence. Even if they're short sentences, there's moments of, like, pause where it flows better in the sentence to have a comma.
It's like what we say, I think, every time. Just read it out loud.
Just read it out loud.
Because
or get a dyslexic person to read out loud.
Yeah, call up Cassie, get her to read it out loud for you. You'll really know where to put the commas.
Just in the sentence, like, as she walked away, a coney emerged from a fracture in the porch deck. As she walked away, comma, a coney emerged from, rather than, like, as she walked away, a coney emerged from the fracture. Like, you know, you can actually have more commas in a sentence than you think.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. I use a lot of commas in my sentences.
Yeah, I do too, and then I get points deducted for it.
Which I think is dumb.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's this whole thing of, like, commas don't technically have a place to go, and I'm like, okay, and then I get points deducted for commas constantly.
I think commas are super important because they show how the reader intended for the story to be read. Where is the emphasis on a word? Especially in stories where, like, sometimes writers use in like bold or italics to show, like, the indication or emphasis on a single word. I don't think that's necessary because I genuinely think you can just use commas. And that in itself shows what emphasis is on words. But I feel like people all the time get deducted for using commas in sentences, which is so silly to me because it just really shows where the author's intention is within a sentence, or within a paragraph, or within whatever the person's writing. So I definitely think this story could benefit from having some commas in place of, like, pauses where the natural, like, speaking would go. Yeah. I paused a lot, like, one, because I struggle with reading, but two, there is some natural places where when you speak, you pause, and those just benefit from having a comma.
Yeah, and when I say read it out loud, that's because often when you read out loud, you notice when you take a breath, and that's usually where I'll put a comma, is when I have to take a small breath, I place a comma there.
Yeah, and you can also tell when sentences are getting too long or convoluted.
Or even just when you're repeating yourself, like... That is why we read these stories as well. Like, we could literally just put it in the description or something and then just discuss the piece. But, like, we want to read it out loud so that... It's like when we had Max in here last week, and they were saying that they were writing down, like, spots where they needed to cut some stuff out, like, change some stuff up. That's why we read it out loud, so that you can hear someone else reading it, maybe how they infer what you're saying, or, yeah.
There's such a benefit to reading out loud, and I know this piece doesn't have any dialogue, but when a piece has dialogue as well, you can feel how natural it flows, and I don't know if I'm crazy, but sometimes I'll just respond to, like, a piece that I've written to see, like, what a character might say, or what a natural piece of dialogue that would follow a question or a statement is.
Yep.
But to get, like, especially if you're doing a story that's, like, kind of grounded in reality, and kind of modern day even, to get, like, an actual sense of how people talk in a conversation, which is not how we're naturally doing it right now. We're like, this is how normal people talk, and we're here like, the structure of a sentence and the prose of it all.
Yeah.
So.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, we learned today that both of us have been lying, and we don't know what prose
I just chucked the word prose out there, and I go, I hope I'm right.
I don't know what prose means, and it was about 20 minutes ago I learned that Amy also doesn't know what prose means. So a great creative writing students.
Shut the hell up. Yeah, we're third year creative writing students.
Yeah, we're third year creative writing students, and we write all the time. Do we know what prose is? No. We've both been lying.
Yeah, I'm a fraud.
And you use it all the time.
I do.
You faker.
I've started saying it, and I genuinely, I'm like, I hope this is right. And if it's wrong, I hope no one calls me out for it.
Yeah, I hear her say it all the time, and I get insecure because I don't know what it means. All this time she's been faking.
Yeah.
Read the next question.
I'm convinced that no one knows what it means, and everyone else is just chucking it out there.
It means sentence structure, apparently.
Awesome. Whatever, we're making us sound really dumb right now.
I know, we're here giving advice, we're like, we don't know what prose means.
We don't know what that means. I feel like a lot of my notes really just go back to show not tell, and I feel like this 100% also the end, once the creature shows up, could really benefit?
Sorry, who is dyslexic?
Could really benefit from being cut down more and really showing not telling, because again, there's just a lot of this creature who was her love reincarnated. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of other ways you can really push this idea forward without it being, like, for lack of a better term, like, shoved in your reader's face. And I'm so guilty of that. I have to write a piece now, just got it back, where it's like, the tutor's like, you need to cut a lot of this out, because you just need to trust the reader more with your writing, and trust that they're smart enough to read between the lines.
I also feel like a sad part of it is the line is a genuinely beautiful line where the spirit that was her love reincarnated in Earth. Yeah. Genuinely, that's such a beautiful and moving line when it comes to like nature and loss and grief and how it feels like this huge creature and it's amassed in like this dirt and moss or this like horrible sludging, suffocating feeling. But beneath it is like this love and power that forms something amazing and mystical. Like, it's a genuinely beautiful line, but it does get watered down when it's just so often repeated.
Which, like...
And, like you said, for lack of a better term, shoved in your face.
Yeah, which, if that line, again, beautiful line, love reincarnated, you could just use that. Like, at the very end, shielded by moss in the embrace of the man she had lost. You can cut that out, because we've already inferred that this is her husband, who has died. You can say, from the embrace of her love reincarnated, instead. And that's, like, the only time that is stated.
I read that more as, shielded by moss as her becoming a moss creature. I realize now it probably, shielded by moss in the embrace of the man is the moss man, her husband, hugging her and embracing her. I read that as she was becoming moss herself, like a moss creature herself.
I mean, yeah, it's a part of the story that I think is like, give to the earth and the earth will give back to you, which is that she's becoming one with the earth. Anyways. Nah, I don't know where I was going with that.
You really sounded like you were going somewhere there.
No, I wasn't.
I'll just interject by saying as well, back on like the repetition a little bit and like the structure, I love repetition, but it felt a bit too much, especially at the beginning.
Yes,
like we were getting the same descriptions over and over. It felt like for kind of a full page, we were just hearing, she walked a path she'd always walked and picked the berries, and she had tired hands. And I felt like that was a lot of the first section, where it's such a crucial point to set up your character, and I feel like I missed a lot of the character. And it's kind of like disappointing a little bit because it's such a beautiful setup of the world that we're in. The description of like the rotting leaves and the trail is absolutely beautiful, and you can picture it, and you can almost picture how it sounds and how it looks and how it smells and like the complete ambience of it all. But I feel like I don't know the character. It's like the start of setting up this old, more frail, more delicate woman, but I actually don't know anything about her.
Yeah.
From this initial sentence. And even later as we go, we know she like works hard and tirelessly because she's very exhausted, but we don't know why. Like, does she have a job? Why is she picking these like things? Is it just routine? Does she do it to sell? There's a level of like, I don't know who this character is supposed to be. And I wish was set up a little bit more in place of just the description.
A good little interjection for that is when we do go to her house, maybe there's photographs on the wall. Maybe we get like a small description, like as she walks past one, she looks at one of the photos. Maybe it's her dead husband. Maybe they have children, or maybe it's like her parents or something. Like something that just shows more life to this woman.
Yeah, or even when she's picking the berries as well, it'd be like she waited months to make sure they were going to be the right ripeness, otherwise they wouldn't sell nice at the market, or otherwise her picky neighbor wouldn't accept the treat she was making.
Her grandchildren would complain that the jam was too sour.
Yeah, something to kind of give a level of like why she's picking the berries even at the most basic level. And a little more into her description as well. Like, it's clear she's had like a long life, but I want to know a bit more about her life. Has she lived here forever? Like, it says that she walks this trail all the time over years, but is that decades? Is that centuries? Is she a human? Like,
yeah, if it's like a childhood home, like while she's walking, she can think of how she used to like, her little feet used to like pad along the footpath, like in barefoot and everything as well.
Yeah, how like the trees have grown with her almost as well. If she's
that's cute.
A creature that's been alive for centuries. Or if the forest knows her name because she was, born there. Or a little something more to establish kind of who the character is that we're following, especially since we kind of get so little of her throughout the whole story.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to go into the character unless you really wanted to focus on anything else.
I did have just like a few suggestions for sentences, but you go first. I'll get to that later.
I wanted to touch a bit on how I like that this is an older woman character.
Yes.
I feel like that is not written about a lot. I feel like historically we always have older men characters. They're allowed to age. We're allowed to have this like old, wise man character. And then a lot of the time when it's young writers like us, we write younger characters.
Yeah, from our own perspectives.
Yeah, from our own perspective, characters who are children and we have, grown up but still like know what it's like as a child, or teenagers or young adults, just because that's the stage of life that we're at. But older women don't usually have a chance to be shown in media, especially older women that aren't like badasses, for lack of a better term. Yeah. This is a frail old woman who just wants to make jam and love her husband, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. She doesn't need to be this kick-ass warrior woman.
Let's get rid of the dead wife trope. Let's start the dead husband trope.
Get the husbands out of here. We do have a longer life expectancy. So
True.
I don't know why.
Why do we keep dying?
Why are we dying?
What the hell?
Illness.
Yeah.
Female health is so understudied.
Yeah.
Anyway, why are we dying?
Why do they keep killing us in the media?
But yeah, I really like an older woman character who like is just a grandmother. There's so many older women. Or even
just not even a grandmother, just an old woman.
Yeah, there's so many women that you meet along, like, in real life. There's so many women that I've met that are just women. They haven't done anything insanely outstanding or anything that's, like, end-of-world badassery, but that doesn't make them any less interesting in how they've lived their lives. Yeah. Or that doesn't make their life any less fulfilled. They still have insanely interesting stories to tell and wisdom to give. And I like that this is just a woman and exploring something you don't usually see written because it's usually viewed as boring.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want to miss your husband, take a bath, and
eat jam.
Yeah.
Good life.
Yeah.
I want to do that. God, I love a lavender bath.
I can't say I've ever had one.
Neither. That's why I long for one.
Yeah.
We can take one together.
Oh. Guys, we're rekindling our love.
I did say I love you last episode.
And then I didn't say it back.
And you didn't say it back, so.
My bad.
Say I love you.
I love you.
Thank you.
Guys, divorce arc over. I know we were fighting at the start of this episode.
No, we weren't.
We're back. I wanted to...
You pulled something.
Sorry, no. I just got really excited. I want to talk about the symbolism of the bilberries.
Yes. Go.
Yes.
Because I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Okay, so I usually search these things up. I also want to talk about how leaning into the symbolism more, because I sort of get the feeling that...
Wait, what is the symbolism?
The symbolism of bilberries is... Oh my god. Like, for Finnish folklore, it's, like, known to, like, ward off evil spirits. Oh. Which is very interesting for this kind of story, which is about death. I feel like... I get the feeling that Matilda is kind of trying to, like, subtly do it. I personally think if you hone into it more, it's much more effective to lean into the bilberry symbolism. Because the whole point of the story is that it's like, death isn't evil. Death is just a part of life. And she is happy to accept that. And I feel like really honing in on the symbolism that bilberries, the things that grow all around her house, like, she picks them every year. She's planting bilberry seeds as she walks to her metaphorical death. Like, I feel like really honing in on that a little bit more will be really effective.
And unless I'm remembering wrong, I'm pretty sure when he's following her, the bilberry seeds are getting caught up in the husband's, like, moss and everything. Like, he's becoming one with the bilberry seeds at the end.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I just think that's a really beautiful part of the story. And, yeah, I just think it's cute. And also the symbolism of moss, I saw it as, like, fertility.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, explain that a little bit.
I don't know. I wrote notes down, and I can't remember where I've put any of them.
Okay.
Oh, and then also in the final paragraph, the word moss is used quite often. I think it's 3 times. I know it's hard for a word like moss to find other ways to describe it, but I feel like if you do, it'll just, like, flow a little bit better. So instead I've just written, like, soft green growth, and that also adds to the sensory detail that we talked about before.
Yeah, I see the fertility language now.
Yeah, of, like, as, again, going back to the give to the earth and the earth will give back to you, which, as she's dying, she's giving her body to the earth, she's planting all these seeds, and they're planting, like, onto him. Like, fertility, life cycle, like...
Yeah. Something to, return back to, in a way, I suppose.
Yeah, I just think there's so much detail into the moss creature. Like, so much physical description of him and what he's doing and what he looks like, which I feel like you can afford to cut a lot of that out and instead focus on other things. Like,
yeah. I would have loved to get a bit more into the relationship between the husband and the wife. Before his passing. It got a bit into, like, how he kind of alleviated her stress a little bit and, like, helped her with her work. But just into their actual, like, dynamic. Like, it's kind of implied that he, like, drew bars for her or was very, like, loving
very
or doting.
Caring and gentle and,
But I would have liked, and, like, what you said before, if you passed a picture frame in the house or some memory of, like, even at the beginning that this is, like, a place they got married and she remembers he, like, meticulously, like, planned every detail or, like, focused on every rose and now the roses still bloom every year.
Or at the house, maybe as she's walking up the steps, maybe the railing was previously fixed, like, 2 decades ago, and she's remembering how it was fixed before because she's fallen there previously.
Yeah, some dynamic between the two to really just add to, like, the grief of it. And even her grief in the dynamic, because it says she's kind of hesitant to picture this as her husband. And I'm thinking that's because she doesn't want to kind of relive that grief. If for a moment she thinks he could be back, then she risks losing him again. But to go into that a little bit more is very interesting because I think that's a very real thing in grief where people relapse a little bit because they think about who they've lost and then it kind of hits them all over again and it's kind of seen as this, like, step back. And even then I use the word relapse, which implies, like, some level of, like, you're back to where you started. But when it comes to grief, there is no circling back. There's only a line.
Yeah.
But the line goes up and down.
Yeah.
So I think some level of, like, exploring her grief in losing her husband as well. It's been a decade, so she's had a lot of time on her own.
Also because she knows she's actively dying as well.
Yes.
So she's dealt with the death previously. And now she's having to deal with it alone this time as well, without her husband, when she was there for her husband.
Yeah, so in a way this is like her husband giving back. Or it can even be seen as herself, like giving her some peace of mind. Like, I know I mentioned before, like, the stages of grief, but that could be the stages of grief within her own death. The acceptance and denial and fear and anger for her own death as she passes away. Even at her husband, like you were saying, if she's angry or she's sad that she doesn't have a caregiver like she was to him when he passed away. I feel like that kind of dynamic or that, like, exploration of their relationship just makes it a little more personal, I suppose. It makes the reader a little more, like, care a little bit more about their actual story, their love story, because it is a love story.
I just have some notes because we have about 6 minutes. Also, if you heard my tummy grumble before, no, you didn't. That didn't happen. Huh? That's
a permanent note for every episode.
Yeah. If you ever hear my tummy grumble, you did not, actually. And shut up. Personification. I love personification. I love personification so much, and I think it's done very well in this piece. And I think, again, I love magical realism. Personification and magical realism. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love them together so much.
I do love personification.
Yeah. But I feel like there's so many missed opportunities to add to that personification because obviously from forest feels alive. These creatures feel like they're like, it's like Snow White.
Sentient,
like,
yeah,
that's the word I was looking for. And I feel like I just added like a suggestion. Like there was a line, she heard a resonance of rushing water, which I feel like instead, like little lines like that, which I think can be tinkered with a little bit, like rushing water whispered past her ear, just to really add to that, the magic of the world. If that's what you want to lean into, I feel like little tweaks like that might just help add to that atmosphere.
And I think I said this in the last episode as well, where there's nothing I love more than when a magic system is purely around nature. Because, like, what's, like, in this world, like, there's nothing more natural than magic, but there's nothing magical. Like, outward magical. There's no spells or academy or witches, but there's
it's just nature,
like,
baby.
Like, nature is the ultimate magic system.
Yeah.
And, like, what you give, you get back. What you do is
and
done unto you.
That goes back to give to the earth, and the earth will give back to you.
Yeah, this, like, whole circle of life thing that I think is really prevalent in this story.
Yeah.
Is really good.
I also had another little suggestion, which, one of the lines, let me find it actually, now sorry, we're very disorganized.
While she's searching for it, if you go to Sweaty Jesus, you can see I'm wearing a Sailor Moon t-shirt.
Oh, lovely.
And I'm about to hit that line right now.
Oh, I can't find it now.
Look, I have to give a whole speech. You have time to find it.
Okay.
I am Sailor Moon, the champion of justice. On behalf of the moon, I will right wrong and champion over evil. And that means you. Okay, did you find it?
Can you search it on your doc? Because it doesn't highlight it, which is so annoying.
Okay.
Now it was.
Go for it.
No, now it was.
There we go.
Now it was not the elves she thought of going around her home, but this strange and lovely creature before her, which is a good line, but it doesn't leave a lot up to the imagination of the reader. And again, it's trusting your reader to read between the lines. Instead, I just wrote this little suggestion, which was like, because previously italics was used as like sort of a dialogue placeholder, which I thought could be interesting to use again, since it's only used once. Elves in italics, she thought, looking at the creature, how silly, instead. Which brings it back to the elves again, which is that she's like, how could I have thought that? Like, I should have known that it was my husband.
Yeah, because then it just doesn't reiterate that same, like, this strange, lovely creature, this unusual creature, this familiar creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just ties back to, like, what I liked about the line, too, like, not the elves she thought.
Yeah.
I do like the tie back to that. That's really great insight.
Thanks!
Are you a creative writing student or something?
Sometimes I can do it.
We don't know what prose means, but sometimes we're okay.
But goddamn, sometimes I can do it.
She's done it again. Oh, when will she fail?
Yeah. Do you have anything to say while I quickly look over these notes?
I don't think I have any last minute things. I think I just want to end by saying, like, I haven't said yet, like, I just love this piece a lot.
It's beautiful.
It's very beautifully written. And again, I apologize, it had to be me who's reading it, because a lot of the lines just flowed very beautifully.
Yeah.
Every now and then I locked in and hit a really good sentence. But the structure of all the sentences, even where I thought it could use some commas, like, the structure of the sentences is beautiful, and the way you can kind of imagine, like, even silver hair in place of gray hair almost adds this level of, like, fantastical like, language that's
and the
just
beauty
beautiful.
of it as well.
Yeah, where, like, aging isn't an ugly, scary, wilting thing, even if
it's part of life.
Even if there's, like, descriptions of her feeling, like, more frail or tired, it's not viewed as, like, negative, and it's not seen as, like, a weakness. It's kind of seen where she just needs to accept, like, help. And that's not a negative, where we'll all get to that point.
All the old people listening.
Except
keep that
help.
in mind.
Yeah, just how age is kind of touched on as more of, like, a beautiful return to the beginning rather than an end.
Fertility. Cycle of life. Give to the earth and the earth will give back to you.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Anyway.
So yeah, my big takeaway is trust your audience. Write not over-explaining yourself all the time.
Yes.
And this piece will just come together so well, I feel
Use different kinds of description because there is a lot of the same description. I do
Yes.
love the description, but different, switch it up a little bit. Different kinds of sensory language.
Okay, we got 10 seconds.
Amy, I love you.
Oh my god. Yeah, I love you too.
Yay! We did it.
This was episode 10. Oh my god.
This is episode 10. Yay!
Outro. Plot Thickens.
You are listening to SwinRadio.
SwinRadio.
SwinRadio.